Okay, I hope you can hear me okay. My regular Rode mic, I don't know what the hell I did with it. Right now I've got this really cheesy little tiny one that came as part of a bundle with a Canon SL2 that I picked up not long ago. It was the same cost with the bundle versus just that alone, so it came along with a cheesy little video light and a cheesy little mic, and I'm actually really glad I got it right now, because otherwise I don't know if you'd be able to hear me, and I don't have time to dig around looking for that Rode mic. So I'm going to try to keep up with some more of the behind the scenes video. I know it's very seldom that I do this kind of behind the scenes. I used to do a lot more of this years ago, but the fact is it's kind of a pain in the ass to do it. It takes up a lot of time and makes what's already a difficult setup process even far more difficult. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'm going to be taking a short step away from plants for a little bit. I've got a new set with Drosera, also called Sundews, that is currently kind of settling in. I can't wait to start, but I got about a week before I want to start playing with that. In the meantime, I've got this. It's called a PyroPet. It's a candle, and as it burns, it reveals a little skeleton, a little metal skeleton inside of it. So I'm going to be filming this using several different systems. The first, of course, is auto. There's no reason I wouldn't use it. I put a lot of time and energy into it, and it works great, so I like to use as much as I can. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using fin just yet. I might be using a couple static cameras, but I'm also hoping to use a Spectrum from a Motomo. I'm really excited about getting this thing. It just showed up a few days ago. I haven't had a chance to properly run it through the tests, and there's a cable that I'm waiting on before I can sync it up a Dragon frame, but hopefully I get that here. It should be here sometime today, I hope. If not, then I'll have to find another way to integrate it. I don't know if the new Spectrum works the same way as the TB3, but the TB3 had to make a special cable just to be able to trigger it, and I'm not exactly sure why it is, because otherwise my system can trigger anything else, but with the Motomo, it seemed weird. So we'll try that out. I really like it so far. I haven't had a lot of time to play with it, but immediately right out the gate it addresses several issues that I had with the TB3. And I really like the TB3, and even though I gutted it and put my own electronics in it, it was super easy to use, super intuitive, and it worked really well. The Spectrum takes it really to a whole new level. It's got a lot of features in it that I will probably never use, but I'm kind of excited to play around with at least. And it's got a lot of power, it's got a lot of oomph, and it's got a lot of brains to it. And also it takes the camera, puts it on a nodal point rather than being up on top of a neck where it kind of flops forward and backwards. It actually rotates the camera where the sensor is. And I really like that with the work that I do, because when you're getting really up close with macro, some of this stuff, that net motion actually shows up in the video. And sometimes it's what I want, but a lot of times it's not. So I hope that you enjoy this. I'm going to be working on getting this set up, and let's see what we're going to do for that. Okay, so good news and bad news. Unfortunately, I checked the shipping and that cable I need is not going to be in time. However, I am able to sync this up. So what you got to do is turn this bugger on and go down to settings and make sure that your settings are set for external trigger. That's the one that you want. Then you want to go back up to program shots, type time lapse, start point, and then I'm just going to go ahead and move things around a little bit. Okay, then end point. Go ahead and raise that back up, turn it a bit, and then I'm going to shoot it on down over here. Now, just for the sake of illustrating, I'm also going to knock the frame shot down, way down, so you can see the definite movement when I trigger it. So 20 frames. Then you go down to start. It's going to move to the start position. And the funny thing, there's like a little joystick on the side. I actually thought that was a fuse holder. But anyway, so you hit X to go, and then hit X again, and it pauses it. Okay. Now this pause is looking for a signal. And here's my homemade splitter, so it's got 8 outputs. This one's damaged, so I only have 7 right now, but this is a little test switch. And if I hit it, you can see it move. So it's on frame 2. Hit again, frame 3. Hit again, frame 4. And this is how I'm going to get this to integrate with this shoot. So I'm going to have to set everything up in camera rather than through Dragon Frame, which is unfortunate because I got 3 laptops with Dragon Frame on it, and I was kind of hoping to use one for it, but this will totally work. So I'm kind of happy to see that I don't have to do any special wiring for this. Top it off a little bit. I wanted to give it a little bit of a Blair Witchy kind of feel, you know, maybe kind of spooky and stuff. So I wanted to get some elements of wood and everything. That kind of came from seeing a movie called The Ritual last night. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's fantastic. It's a horror movie and I loved it. But that kind of inspired me to design this kind of a set for it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this works out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take auto up here and I'm going to bring it down. And I'm going to start bringing it into the set so I can start taking a look and planning out my shot and exactly how I want it to run. So I'm probably not going to show the entire process of that because it takes quite some time to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and get started and get this set up. But just to get a better view, down low we've got, hopefully you can hear me, this mic kind of sucks, but down low we've got this little pan with water in it because I don't want to burn down my house. And then I'm going to have a candle on top. Now this is just a fill-in candle while the PyroPet is over here. And then I got these background elements that I'm going to go ahead and put in. And when I kill the light, it gets a pretty cool spooky kind of look. It looks like it's kind of a freaky place. And I like the idea of having the clock there so you can see the time go by. These are supposed to be a 20-hour candle, at least that's what I read from someone online. I have no idea, so I'm going to have to plan this out. I'm going to aim to shoot for 20 hours, but I'm going to film it as if I'm kind of expecting it to be done in about 6. So that's how I'm going to plan my intervals. And then if it turns out it does take 20 hours, well then I just compress the footage and shorten the timeline in post. Versus if I plan for 20 hours and I'm shooting every 5 or 10 minutes and this thing just goes down in 3 hours, it's really going to be kind of a disappointment. And the candle was about 30 bucks, so I don't want to waste that. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up. I got a 60mm macro lens. That's what I do all of my work with auto, is all on a 60mm macro. It just works well in this set, and it also has this adapter for the focus, so I don't get any lens play or rotation on the lens when I'm shifting focus. That's how I get such clean focus, by mounting the apparatus to the lens itself. Problem is 60mm is too close for that target, so I had to bring it back a little bit. And now looking over here, sorry for all the vibrations and stuff, it's looking a lot cooler. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting set up. But this is kind of how it goes. There's a lot of setup and rework that happens. Now auto setup, I have it starting down here, and it's going to move back and up and aim down, as well as the Emotimo. I just got that one set up. I'm going to go ahead and return it to its starting position. And they're both basically starting towards the center and then moving out and away. They're both doing focus pulls as well as linear and pan tilt motion. So I might have to play around with this though, because that just snagged. Everything's set up and I got the lights on just to make it easier to see. But this is quite a mess. So right here we have auto. It's going to be pulling back, up, and over this way. So it's starting over here, and it's going to end up about here. It's got the 60mm macro lens on the PyroPet. This one is just sitting up close. If I can get a focus on that. And that's to get a close head shot of it, because I really want to see the skull as it kind of burns down. Over here, we have the Emotimo pulling the second Moco duty. Now this is going to be sliding over to the right. The camera's going to be panning, and it'll be shifting focus as it makes this move. In order to set it up, I had to grab this old cable I still had and connect the camera into the Emotimo. I had no intention of having to do this because I was planning on triggering it through Dragon Frame, so I'll have a USB connection. But for now, this Emotimo, everything's running off this for the Spectrum, and it's taking a timing signal from auto. So every time it moves, it's all going to stay in sync. Then over here, the last camera, This is aimed up as kind of a higher view looking down, and it'll capture the entire scene as it does what it does. Of course, I don't have the lights all kind of messed up. Look at it like that. Okay, so here's the view from the Emotomo. Now I'm going to turn out the lights and get a better idea how this is going to look. Okay, so once this lights up, it's going to cast more light on there, and I'm going to recheck that as soon as I start it. But I got to get a memory card in there. Auto is ready, locked, cocked, and ready to rock. As is with the Spectrum, you can see here's the image it's going to be taking, and then this one, I don't intend to take the picture, but I'm going to darken it up, and then I'll make a couple test shots on this as well once the candle is lit. And the candle will be lit by no other than my son, Logan Field. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this set up and start filming. We're on day 2. The PyroPet ran last night. Actually finished up before I went to bed. And I get the impression it didn't burn quite the way I wanted after initial scrub of the footage. So let's go kind of take a look and see what we're looking at here. This is the first clip. This was done with a static camera with close-up of the head. But I noticed it takes a long time for it to get through the head. Once it happens, it just kind of goes really quick, as you can see there. Here's camera angle number 2. And if you look at the clock, you'll see that probably about 4 or 5 hours passes while it's just the camera's just sitting there on the head. But eventually when the body goes, it just completely drops once again, and I kind of missed the frame rate on it. This is the footage from the Spectrum, same thing as we've seen before, but now we got a little bit of movement. I'd like to have seen more, but I was actually aiming this entire thing to be about a 20-hour capture, and only turned out to be 7, so very little movement. This is the cat. I like this one. I think it looks pretty cool. Once again, it's got a metal frame inside. I haven't gone through all of the footage. I have a lot of it working on my computer upstairs. It's just kind of like processing through a lot of the data, and then I'll get a better idea of exactly what went on. But just doing the scrub on the Dragon frame, I can see that the body went down a lot faster than I expected. I started filming at 45-second intervals, and I felt that it was going too quick for the head because the initial burn came pretty quick right around the top of the head. But then after that, it really kind of stalled out, so I ended up kicking the time up. Well, after the initial burn, I moved it down to 25 seconds, thinking I was going too long on my intervals. But then I saw how long it was taking, so I knocked it back up to a minute, and then when I left it, I let it run for a minute. I expected it still to be going when I got home, and that's because the body is so much thicker than the head. However, once the wax on the head melted down and the flame was able to touch the metal, it heated the metal up, and that's what looks like it got the body to just basically slough right off of it. So this time around, I'm going to stick with 30-second intervals all the way through. I had 2,400 or 2,000 intervals, I believe, built into the motion for Dragon frame, so I didn't get a lot of motion on it. Not that I want tons, but it was less than I'd kind of hoped. So this time, I'm going to knock that down to about 1,000. I'm going to keep it 30-second intervals. I expect there's going to be about 300 to 400 for the head, and then by not kicking it up to a minute, I'm hoping to get another 400 to 500 as the body melts. And that's going to be the plan moving forward on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up. I'm not going to go with the same background on this one. I want to change it up. Since it's a cat, I want to give it a little bit more of a jungle theme and move away from the woodsy, foresty kind of Blair Witch kind of thing I had going on. So I'm going to play around, get the new one set up, and then we'll see how this goes. I got everything set up. I got that candle just in place as a placeholder while I line up the shots, making sure that everything's the way I want it. So I got a static camera here, another one down below that's looking up at the candle. Of course, auto as always. It's going to be doing some motion. I got the Emotomo Spectrum. It's going to be doing its job. And then I've got another camera here. So I've got 5 cameras on this, and hopefully going to get all the angles that I really want. Now, just in case anybody wants to see how this goes. Right now my grow light's on and I'm running the sequence. And what it's going to do is going to hit about point about now. It turns off the grow lights. Fill lights are on. Waits a few seconds. And then everything takes a picture. Then it moves on to the next motion. And then the grow lights come back on. Kind of quick intervals, and I don't know how much my plants are going to appreciate it. Ooh, boy, that's kind of hard to see. As you can see now, it's really cooking. This got really stressful because up until just about 4 or 5 minutes ago, it had a tiny little flame on the ears of the kitty, and it was not doing anything. It had about 5 hours into this time lapse, and this is as far as it got. But if you look now, the skull is visible, the inside's visible, and it's really kicking. So let me show you on the computer. If I can get this to focus. Come on, okay. So just until, here's pretty much how it went for the last 5 hours. Nothing, 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 nothing. Then all of a sudden, boom. You like that? It just starts leaking through. It's got this nice little arc of light coming down through the cheek. This is totally gnarly. But this is halfway through the movement, and it's not even, and it just really took off. So I think I might even try to extend the intervals up to 15 seconds, but I'm not sure. And I'm looking at, this is the feed coming from the Spectrum. That cat's face is about to fall off at any minute, and hopefully it catches the whole top and bottom and everything when it does it. So that's going to be totally sweet. Here's another camera. Getting the kitty, and you can see the dripping right there happening. So as it drips, more wick is available. The more wick is available, the higher that'll burn. The higher that burns, the hotter the metal gets inside, and the hotter metal gets inside, the more it's going to torch that thing. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead, because this has really gone down fast. I'm going to kick those intervals down even quicker. This has been pretty stressful, believe it or not. As you can see now, it's really cooking. This got really stressful because up until just about 4 or 5 minutes ago, it had a tiny little flame on the ears of the kitty, and it was not doing anything. It had about 5 hours into this time lapse, and this is as far as it got. But if you look now, the skull is visible, the inside's visible, and it's really kicking. So let me show you on the computer. If I can get this to focus. Come on, okay. So just until, here's pretty much how it went for the last 5 hours. Nothing, 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 nothing. Then all of a sudden, boom. You like that? It just starts leaking through. It's got this nice little arc of light coming down through the cheek. This is totally gnarly. But this is halfway through the movement, and it's not even, and it just really took off. So I think I might even try to extend the intervals up to 15 seconds, but I'm not sure. When I'm looking at, this is the feed coming from the Spectrum. That cat's face is about to fall off at any minute, and hopefully it catches the whole top and bottom and everything when it does it. So that's going to be totally sweet. Here's another camera. Getting the kitty, and you can see the dripping right there happening. So as it drips, more wick is available. The more wick is available, the higher that'll burn. The higher that burns, the hotter the metal gets inside, and the hotter metal gets inside, the more it's going to torch that thing. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead, because this has really gone down fast. I'm going to kick those intervals down even quicker. This has been pretty stressful, believe it or not. I had a couple action cams running. These are cheap little GoPro knockoffs, and I like having them run because they can kind of show me if things go wrong, and it also gives me some good BTS footage. So they're good for debugging and also just kind of getting this kind of junk.
I'm pretty pleased with the way the footage went. Once again, it was really slow burn on the head, and when it hit the body, it really went quick. But this time, I was shooting the head at about 30-second intervals, and when it got to the body, I dropped that down to about 15-second intervals to try to get as much footage of the wax falling off the body as possible. You get some really cool rips and tears in the wax. You get the cat skeleton sitting out. I mean, this was just a lot of fun. This is the actual shot I got from Otto. The motion is nice and smooth. I'm pretty pleased with how everything went there. It did not get the whole movement though. It didn't get the whole distance that I was hoping it to go, because it wrapped up in I think about 6 hours, and I had about 10 hours planned for shooting. I didn't want to go under just in case, but pretty pleased with the way that came out. And here is with the Spectrum. Really pleased with the way that worked. Next time I use it though, I am going to be tying it in with the cable in the Dragon frame. But as far as just syncing it up with the rest of the system, this actually worked out fairly well. As you see, the motion is super smooth. Really pleased with that. And I love watching that wax just kind of fall off the face of the thing. It's pretty sweet. This is the last shot I have. I actually had 5, but the other one, the focus was blown. So looking at this one, you can see it's from an angle up. I've got my old XE1, which is the oldest camera I have at this point, just shooting straight up at it. And you know, it all came falling down pretty nice. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll be trying to do some more BTS videos coming up. Thank you for watching.